Well, welcome to our installment Into the West Comics Run It Back edition. I guess you'd call this like a summer blockbuster series.
Yeah.
Okay.
like
And
that.
as far as these movies go, they're going to have a very similar theme, I guess, as we go along. We'll be talking about some movies like Jaws in the next couple of weeks, maybe an Indiana Jones or something like that.
Man.
But for this week, and I think you're probably already picking up on the theme, for this week, we're going to be talking about the movie that spared no expense, Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Take you all the way back to, was it Isla Nublar, whatever
Isla
it is,
Nublar,
going
yeah.
over there.
Isla Sorna is the other one.
It was Kauai is where they filmed Jurassic Park, the original. I want to get your guys' thoughts about it. I love this movie.
Love this movie.
It was a lot of fun. I remember that it was like 30-ish years ago when the movie came out, I think. And I just remember that I wanted to see them pull off the dinosaurs. I wanted to see what they were going to look like. But, Sonny, tell me your thoughts.
You were talking about in Kauai. I actually went to do the Jurassic Park tour in Hawaii, like where they shot it and everything. I actually did the helicopter where you do where the scene was. This is like we were clowning about it, but it was kind of groundbreaking and it was really epic for what they were doing with CG at the time. And Universal Studios is one of my favorite amusement parks ever. So I remember being young and being so terrified at these dinosaurs coming out. I'd close my eyes, and then you'd go down the waterfall, and the T-Rex would come out. So like,
have you been on that recently?
Yeah, it's completely
super
different.
Cool. The two dinosaurs coming out.
Yes,
Dope. Anyways,
terrifying. I'm still scared.
Spoiler.
So sorry. But no, I think. You spoiler the roller coaster.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
roller spoiler.
Spoiler.
anyways.
No, I think this was one of those movies that if it's ever on and there's not like anything too cool on, I'll put it on and watch it. You know what I mean? It did a lot for the time. The scene where the kids are like hiding and they're like in the kitchen. And it's like the Velociraptor.
Aged very well.
It aged extremely well. It's still pretty creepy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think in the time, I didn't see it in the movie theater, but came out a year after I was born. So sorry, Frank. I apologize.
You were 10. What are you laughing about?
I saw it in the theater.
So did I.
So I could imagine seeing that in the theater. It was probably like super creepy. So yeah, you know. So I think it's one of those movies that did come out from that time, and that did use a lot of different
It did
practical.
come out from that time.
Sorry. God damn it. I'm sure that the special effects and the practical effects of the time were probably just insane, but it did age well. It's still a really cool movie, and I'm stoked that we've gotten all the really cool movies that have come out now with really good special effects. So you know, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Always been a fan.
Marcus.
Yeah. Well, kind of to piggyback on what he was saying, I don't actually think they used CG. I think it was all practical effects.
It was real dinosaurs.
No, they use a lot of puppeteering, but that like
animatronics.
they did use some CG. But when the T-Rex come
T-Rex at the end,
like
the
computer
dinosaur.
graphics.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I thought it was mostly just because I remember like before it came out, I remember seeing the little specials that they were having as they trying to rev everyone up and get everyone excited that they were saying, they were really focusing on like the animatronics and all that kind of stuff. And all that stuff, it's just it's a true testament to practical effects. They age wonderfully, whether it's this movie, whether it's the Star Wars movies, the early ones, or 2001 Space Odyssey, what have you. It's just crystal clear and so believable. Great acting also sold it as well. Those kids were great.
Yeah.
Joseph Mazzello, the boy and the girl, and all, Jeff Goldblum back when he wasn't weird.
I love that.
Yeah,
back when he wasn't weird.
Yeah, back when he was kind of a normal dude, the Fly, whatever. And it's a great movie. It is aged well. Anyone can go back to it and just enjoy it. It's a classic. Yeah, very nostalgic.
What you got?
This was my favorite movie as a child growing up. It like when I was a kid, I was like, I want to be a paleontologist. Then I grew up and learned what paleontologists do, and I was like, I want to be a paleontologist.
I'm good. If I can't clone dinosaurs, I'm good, dog.
I thought you were going to say I want to be a dinosaur.
It's in like, I have, I do want to clone dinosaurs. I have like a little running list on a note thing on my phone of like my top 50 favorite movies of all time. And it's easily in my top 20, top 25. There's not really any movie that I'd be like, yeah, it's definitely better than Jurassic Park. It's scary when it needs to be scary.
Yeah.
It's spectacular when it needs to be spectacular. The quiet moments are good, like when they're in the tree and they feed the brontosaurus. It's just a movie that really kind of made me fall in love with movies, and it's why I go to movies all the time now.
That's fair.
And rewatching it, there's like the scene where the T-Rex first comes out of the gate.
Yeah.
The CGI is fantastic in that, and that's why like you don't notice when it's an animatronic and a CGI, because they use it very well.
Yes.
The T-Rex is covered in water and he's shrouded in darkness, and
The
that's
lighting,
why he looks so good. And then the T-Rex at the end when he like roars next to the falling sign, that's CGI.
Yeah.
And for 1991,
That's
incredible.
clean.
Wow.
The only scene in the entire movie that I watch now and go is when they first see the Brontosaurus. That shot has not aged as well as the rest of the movie.
Fair.
But even still, it came out 30 years ago and was the
insane.
first movie to. I'm sure it had the record for most visual effects shots at the time.
Oh, for sure.
And I just really adore the movie. It's the reason, like, the other day, there's like a prehistoric planet thing on Apple TV, and I didn't want to watch anything before bed because I don't want to fall asleep watching it. And I threw that on. I'm watching that because of Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
I have interest in that because of Jurassic Park. And I think you cannot say enough about how much Jurassic Park influenced movies.
Yeah.
And the director we're kind of focusing on in the next few weeks, Spielberg, pioneered. Spielberg is probably the only director that you could go into any household in the United States and say, name a director. 9 out of 10 of them are going to say Spielberg.
Yeah,
and it's because of movies like Jurassic Park and what they did for blockbusters and movies as we know it today.
Yeah, and he and Lucas are very tight, so I'm sure ILM was all over that as well.
No,
well,
absolutely.
Lucas wrote, kind of tangential, but Lucas wrote Indiana Jones because they wouldn't let Spielberg do a 007 movie.
Oh, wow.
And that's how Indiana Jones came.
Wow. Wow.
Boom. Austin, what do you think about there? Did you want to be a dinosaur when you grew up?
Not really, but I wanted to be kind of like Paul. I want to be kind of paleontologist. Everybody like loved dinosaurs. Growing up, like I think my mom still has all like my kids' toys.
I just wanted to be a cop. I wanted to be a cop growing up.
But
Dinosaur
just
man.
like what everyone else said, Jurassic Park's just a classic American movie. Growing up as a kid, that first scene is so like terrifying as a little kid when they're trying to feed the velociraptor and you don't know what's happening, and the worker gets caught and then he gets eaten, and you're like, okay, that's kind of creepy. And then they just go to like a normal scene after that when they go out to the desert. But yeah, it's just the CGI is just amazing. You don't know it's CGI, you think it's real when you're a little kid. Like, wow, this is like creepy.
What is happening right now?
And then the car scene was just intense after the T-Rex when they were trying to get off, when they were like when the different trucks were trying to get on top of each other.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Right.
And then just there's funny scenes too, like when he goes to the bathroom, the contractor guy, and he's like, Jeff Goldblum's like, hey, when you gotta go, you gotta go. And then he gets eaten in the toilet in the bathroom. That was pretty funny. So
It's one of the worst ways to go out.
I know.
Anyway.
That was terrifying too when I was a little kid. I'm like, oh, you're going to the bathroom, and then he just gets you just see him get eaten.
Dude, you could eat
You're
my
like,
T-Rex.
wow.
One of the funniest scenes in the whole movie to me, and one of my favorite scenes, is when they're at dinner before they go to the island, and the dude who ends up betraying them, they're like talking about it, and one guy's like, shh, 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 don't say my name out loud. And he yells it, and he's like, and no one says anything. He's like, see, nobody cares. And that's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. It's so funny.
To credit what you were talking about with Spielberg, I mean, this is we're talking about 30 years ago, so we're talking about peak lunacy as far as like what he was doing back then.
For sure.
He's coming off, Indiana Jones run, that is, it's being really wildly renowned. There's a huge storm in Kauai when they're finishing production, and he grabs a cameraman and a sound guy, and they go out there and they film footage of the storm, and all the people are like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And they're like,
have you lost your mind?
need some B-roll.
And they took the footage, and that is the footage they used from that storm, is the footage they used of everything being washed out to where they couldn't leave the island.
That's crazy.
At the beginning, that's the footage they used. They used an actual disaster that was, and it wiped out a lot of those production people. The actors and actresses were stuck there after the movie was filmed. And to the other degree, you're talking about the Jurassic Park tour that you took when you were in Kauai. They still found dinosaurs that were left behind, or parts
They said
of
that.
the
That's crazy.
robotics.
Yeah, there's like
They were left behind
Yeah.
in trees and bushes and everything else. Some guy had a heart attack, and Spielberg went and visited him, paid his medical bill, everything. A guy almost died. He found it was like, you're walking, and you see
You're like, oh, that's
have a stegosaurus. You're like, what the?
oh god,
I don't know if he found a giant pile of crap, but I mean, if he found
that got washed away.
yeah, that got washed. out. Yeah. But the movie's incredible. I mean, there's so many moments you take from that movie that are classic. The water, the plastic cup, the water.
Yeah.
Yes.
Doom, and the water, the rings. Great. The phone rings. Just like that. Just like that. That was great timing. Those kind of
we're
moments.
usually done by now.
And we're talking again too about the character Dr. Grant. Okay, Alan Grant. Hi.
Hold on to your butts.
Samuel Jackson talking about that. Yeah, I didn't say the magic word.
Sam Jackson's in this, by the way.
We were talking about that character, Alan Grant. Sam Neill was a finalist to play Indiana Jones.
Oh wow.
Oh, I could see
And
that.
he wasn't interested in the time at playing Indiana Jones. And Spielberg said, well, down the line, we'll work together again.
That's cool.
Oh, okay. That's
pretty cool.
cool.
And
That
it's
is
like,
cool.
8-10 years later,
That explains his
he
hat.
reaches out, and it worked out. So a great movie. Spielberg's, he's the man.
So I mean, just because of it's a nice movie and it's respectable and all that kind of stuff. So I don't want to
I'm
no,
not
I don't
sure
want to
what's
like
happening
put the 1 through 10 on it. But
Oh.
there's also like
okay.
a, you know what I'm saying?
No, let's do it.
All right, so what you got 1 through 10?
I'm at a 9.5 out of 10. 0.5 off because the scene where the kids are eating in the dining room,
With the
the
Jell-O.
sounds of their smacking their lips, I have to fast forward through that scene every time.
When they're,
I fast forward
when they're
to
pounding the ice cream,
yeah,
and,
when the shadow of the Velociraptor shows up, that's when I start playing it again.
and she freezes.
Yeah.
Frank, what you got 1 through 10?
I'd say like a 9.5. I really enjoyed the movie.
I think I'm going with a 9 too. What about you, Marcus?
Yeah, I'm 9.
9?
Yeah, as well.
What you got over there?
9. Yeah, just whenever it's on TV, you got to turn it on. It's just a classic movie. Whenever it's on TV, you just got to watch it.
Quan, did you like that movie at all?
I haven't seen it since 1990, whatever it came out. So I don't know.
Wow.
93, I think it came out.
Nine-
in
that's
91 or
93.
93?
Quan hates dinosaurs.
I mean, it's
Aw.
cool. It's done.
You don't know. You haven't seen it in 30 years.
It's a
God.
I'll give it a roar.
The roller coaster is amazing, by the
He
way.
said, "I'll give it a roar."
This
I'll
is
give
when-
it a roar.
Yeah, this is back when like you went to movies to have fun and enjoy them, not pick them apart and look for
Yeah.
special
Go
scenes.
home.
Well, no,
and
that's
look
what
at
we're
the
doing 30 years
Explainer
later.
videos.
Yeah, that's
what
exactly.
That's what I'm going to do right now.
In the
That's
next
literally
couple
what
of
we do.
weeks, we'll be talking about some Spielberg movies. Next time we'll be getting together
Spielberg.
at the table, we'll be talking about Jaws. That's one of my favorite movies.
Another ride at Universal Studios that's it's not really a ride.
Sort of?
It's a part of a ride
Yeah.
that used to creep me out when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I used to close my eyes.
because I thought when it came out of the water, it would go back down and go away,
I thought
and
it
it
was
came
gonna
back up again. They
Eat,
scared.
eat the tram or whatever, and I've been on it 9 times, and I always thought I was going to die.
And you thought every time it was going to
Every single, I was like, this is going to be the time. You're gonna eat me. I'm dead.
This is it. I'm not going home.
And then I just went like 2 years ago, and I had like
And it ate
you
you?
could drink on there, and I had a tall can.
I don't
and
believe
I
you.
still was like, but I had a good time.
Nice.
See you guys next
Oh
week.
my gosh, guys! Have a great evening. Go to the movies. It's hot out. Go see a movie or 2 or 3.
Yeah.
We'll be talking to you guys soon. Next week is Jaws. I'm excited.
Get jawed.
Get Jaws.
That's Jaws 2. That's Jaws 2.
We'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great evening.
Jaws 2. Get jawed.